I sit on my threadbare couch, sweat trickling down my neck despite the sun having set an hour ago. My ancient air conditioner rattles and wheezes like an old man with emphysema, pushing out air barely cooler than the Nevada evening outside. Another repair bill I can't afford. My phone screen glows in the dimness of my apartment. I scroll through Instagram mindlessly until my thumb freezes. The image burns into my retinas. Crystal blue water, designer sunglasses, and familiar faces. My mother laughing with a cocktail raised high. My father's arm draped around someone in a white linen shirt. My sister Brioni, poised at the center of it all, radiant in a coral bikini I paid for last month. I zoom in, my stomach hollowing out as I recognize more faces. Aunt Carol, Cousin Jasmine, even Mr. Weston from my parents' church group. Everyone, they invited everyone. The caption reads, "Summer vibes with my favorite people. Blessed, influencer life, pool party, extravaganza." My finger hovers over the screen, trembling slightly. 2 days ago, my mother called me. I remember her voice, chirping with excitement. "Bryony's hosting this big influencer pool party near Lake Las Vegas," she'd said. "It's going to be simply marvelous." I had waited for the invitation, the details, and the time to arrive. Instead, her voice dropped lower, conspiratorial. "Honey, Brioni's trying to keep things on brand. You know, no work boots or construction shirts in the background." The silence stretched between us as I processed her words. "I understand, Mom," I finally replied, my voice steady while my heart hammered against my ribs. "Hope it goes well." Now, staring at these photos, I understand perfectly. It went wonderfully, without me. I closed Instagram and opened my banking app. The numbers stare back at me. Last month's transfers to my parents, $850. The automatic payment to Brioni's car insurance, $212. The canceled cabin reservation, $1,600, that was supposed to be my first vacation in 3 years. The cabin money went to Brioni's party instead, I know without asking. I drop my phone and look around my apartment, the peeling linoleum in the kitchen, the water stain on the ceiling that's grown to resemble Australia. The single fan circulating hot air because I can't afford to replace the air conditioning unit. Meanwhile, I manage 6-figure projects at work, supervising crews that respect me, earning a salary that should afford me more than this. But my money vanishes before it ever reaches my bank account, siphoned away by family obligations that began after the 2008 crash took my parents' auto parts store. They never recovered, neither did Brioni, who spent 6 years bouncing between majors before launching a series of failed business ventures. I open my desk drawer and pull out a receipt. Brioni's influencer course, $1,200, paid by me, last week. My refrigerator hums in the background, nearly empty except for a half-gallon of milk and some wilting celery. My stomach growls, but I ignore it as I stare at my worn work boots by the door. The boots that aren't on brand enough for my sister's carefully curated world. Something shifts inside me, not the familiar hot flare of resentment that burns out quickly, but something colder, steadier, a certainty crystallized in my chest. I pick up my phone and dial a number. "Mike, it's Tessa. Remember that favor you mentioned at the family Christmas party? I think I'd like to take you up on it." I hang up 30 minutes later and immediately dial again. "Jared, it's me. How backed up are service calls for holiday weekends these days?" For the first time in years, I smile. Not the practice smile I wear for family photos or when they ask for just one more small loan. This smile belongs only to me. Enough. 2 days later, the vinyl booth at Dusty's Diner squeaks as I slide in across from Mike. My cousin hunches over his coffee, blue uniform shirt still carrying the dust from his morning service calls. We haven't spoken in 3 months, not since I helped him replace his roof shingles over a sweltering April weekend. His eyebrows lift when I place my phone face down on the table instead of checking it obsessively. A deliberate choice. "You look different," he says, stirring a third sugar packet into his mug. Bad different or good different, I can't tell yet. I smooth my hands over the laminated menu, though I already know I'll order the same thing I always do. Turkey club, no mayo, fries instead of slaw. "I need a favor. I say, my voice steady. No preamble, no small talk about his kids or my parents. Mike sets down his spoon with a clink. Must be serious if you're skipping the part where you ask about Jenny's softball tournament. A waitress appears, pad in hand. I ordered my usual. Mike gets the meatloaf special. When she leaves, Mike leans forward. So what's this favor? Do you need help moving? Another roof? I take a sip of ice water, letting the cold slide down my throat. You handle the maintenance scheduling for the Lake Las Vegas area, right? He nods slowly, wariness creeping into his expression. The July 4th weekend, I say. I was wondering if that block has been assigned for routine maintenance yet. Mike's eyes narrow. 20 years of family gatherings mean he knows about Brioni, about the money, about the one-sided relationship I've maintained with my parents since their business collapsed. Tessa, he says quietly, you know that's not how maintenance scheduling works. We don't just randomly shut off power to neighborhoods. I fold my napkin into a perfect triangle. Unless there's a need for preventative maintenance on high-usage holiday weekends, the kind that gets scheduled months in advance. The kind that would require paperwork. Mike takes a long drink of coffee. The kind that would need a legitimate reason. Like stress testing during peak usage to prevent cascading failures. I meet his eyes. Exactly the kind of responsible planning NV Energy prides itself on. The waitress returns with our food. Neither of us speaks while she arranges plates and refills drinks. When she's gone, Mike cuts into his meatloaf. You're saying you want that block on the July 4th rotation? For the first time in days, I feel my lips curve upward. Not quite a smile, but something close to it. Just following protocol, right? I break a French fry in half. Safety first. Mike studies me for a long moment. This about that fancy party Brioni's throwing? Aunt Paula mentioned it when she called to skip Jenny's birthday dinner. Something about a networking opportunity too important to miss. The familiar pang of rejection twists inside me, but it's duller now, overshadowed by something stronger. Did she mention I'm paying for it? I ask, my voice casual. Mike shakes his head. You're still bankrolling them? After all this time? Not for much longer. I reach for the ketchup. That's what the favor's about. He sighs, shoulders slumping. That Lake Las Vegas property has those fancy backup generators, you know. Rich people don't stay inconvenienced for long. I've thought of that. I take a bite of my sandwich, chewing thoroughly before continuing. That's why I'm meeting Jared after this. Mike's eyebrows shoot up. HVAC Jared? From your old construction site? I nod. The very one. Did you know he handles emergency repair calls for that area now? Including backup systems inspection? Understanding dawns on Mike's face. He whistles low. You're not just cutting the power, you're making sure those backups don't kick in. I'm ensuring proper maintenance of all systems, I corrected him. Safety first, remember? Mike puts down his fork, studying me with new eyes. This isn't like you, Tess. Isn't it? I take another bite, speaking around it. I've been cleaning up everyone else's messes for years. Maybe it's time they experienced what that feels like. He's quiet for a long moment. Then, power outages for that zone would have to happen at exactly 6:50 p.m. Maintenance window of exactly 90 minutes. He scribbles something on his napkin. That's if someone wanted to know the specifics. Purely hypothetical information. I agree, pocketing the napkin. Mike returns to his meatloaf. Jenny asked about you last week. Wanted to know when Aunt Tessa was coming over again to teach her more poker. Soon, I promise. Once I take care of a few things. After lunch, I drive across town to the strip mall housing Carson Valley HVAC and Repair. Jared's battered pickup sits in the spot marked Service Manager, right where I expected it. Inside, the air conditioning blasts at Arctic levels. Jared looks up from his desk, phone pressed to his ear. He waves me to the chair across from him, holding up one finger. Yes, ma'am, he says to the caller. I understand it's inconvenient, but holiday weekends are our busiest time. Backlogged service calls, you understand. Our eyes meet. Something passes between us, recognition of a shared understanding about people who expect immediate service regardless of circumstance. 3 to 5 business days, he continues. That's the best we can do. Yes, even for preferred customers. When he hangs up, he leans back in his chair. Tessa McBride. Been what, 8 months? 9, I corrected him, since the Sierra Vista project. He nods. What brings you to my humble temperature control empire? AC finally died in that apartment? I told you last summer that the unit was on its last legs. Actually, I say, placing both palms flat on his desk, I'm here about the Lake Las Vegas luxury properties. Specifically, their backup generator maintenance schedules. Jared's eyebrows inch upward, but he doesn't look surprised. Not really. Interesting timing, he says. We just got contracted to handle their emergency service calls through August. I smile. Not the polite, strained smile I've worn for years at family gatherings. Something sharper, more genuine. Perfect, I say. Let me buy you a coffee. I have a proposition about some very important preventative maintenance. He reaches for his keys. This wouldn't have anything to do with that sister of yours? The one always posting those fancy pool parties nobody actually enjoys? I think of Brioni's Instagram feed, of my parents' faces in those photos, of the birthday dinner Aunt Rebecca was suddenly too arthritic to attend. Let's just say, I reply, some people are overdue for a reality check. Jared stands, grabbing his company cap from the hook by the door. His handshake is firm, warm, knowing. Lead the way, he says. I've always appreciated how thoroughly you plan things. As we walk to his truck, my phone buzzes with a text. Mom, asking if I can cover Brioni's car payment, just this once. I silence it without replying. For the first time in years, I'm putting myself first, and they'll never see it coming. 2 days later, my phone buzzes for the 23rd time in 2 hours. I don't need to look at it anymore. The pattern established itself within minutes of the power going out at Lake Las Vegas. First came Brioni's frantic texts. Then Mom's increasingly hysterical voice messages. Now Dad's thinly veiled accusations. I pour another glass of the Cabernet I've been saving for a special occasion. This qualifies. My laptop screen glows in the dimness of my apartment, social media feeds updating in real time with the spectacular implosion of my sister's influencer career. I take a sip and scroll. Lifestyle with Megan. What kind of luxury influencer hosts an event with no backup generators? Sweatfest 2025, makeup meltdown. Travel with Josh. Pro tip. When temps hit 110 degrees, don't trap 60 people in a house with no AC. My photographer's equipment is ruined. Never again. Beauty by Ava. Had to leave Brioni McBride's event early. 2 words. Heat exhaustion. Currently at urgent care getting 4 fluids. Disaster party. The crown jewel appears at 10:47 p.m. A photo of Brioni, mascara streaking down her flushed face, hair plastered to her forehead, desperately fanning herself with what appears to be a soggy promotional brochure. Her caption reads, "Universe is testing me, all lost everything. Influencer fail." I screenshot it, for posterity. My phone vibrates again. Mom calling for the 7th time. I send it to voicemail and take another satisfying sip of wine. The messages grow more desperate as the night wears on. Tessa, call me right now. We need your help. Mom, 11:14 p.m. Your sister is having a breakdown. This is serious. Mom, 11:38 p.m. Do you know someone at the power company? This is an emergency. Dad, 12:03 a.m. I had 3 sponsors there. My career is over. Call me back. Brioni, 12:17 a.m. I power off my phone at 1:06 a.m. and sleep better than I have in years. The pounding on my door starts at 7:38 the next morning. Tessa Lynn McBride, open this door right now. Mom's voice, shrill and commanding, penetrates my peaceful morning routine. I take my time rinsing my coffee mug before walking to the door. I open it to find 3 red-faced McBrides crowded in my narrow hallway. Mom pushes past me first, the scent of her expensive perfume overwhelming in my small space. Dad follows, his jaw clenched tight enough to crack walnuts. Brioni trails behind, oversized sunglasses hiding what I assume are puffy, tear-stained eyes. Where have you been? Mom demands, dropping her designer purse on my kitchen counter. We've been calling all night. I was sleeping. I closed the door slowly. Is there an emergency? Dad snorts. Don't play dumb, Tessa. You know exactly what happened. I look at each of them, one by one. I know Brioni's party didn't go well. I saw the posts. Didn't go well? Brioni yanks off her sunglasses. Her eyes are bloodshot, makeup smeared despite obvious attempts to fix it. It was a complete disaster. The power went out for 5 hours. Do you have any idea what happens to an infinity pool house in July with no air conditioning? I imagine it gets hot, I say. Hot? She shrieks. People were passing out. Influencers with millions of followers were posting about my failed event all night. The brand partnership I was counting on pulled out this morning. Mom steps forward, switching tactics. Her voice softens to the cajoling tone she uses when she wants something. Honey, we need your help. Your father called the power company, but they said it was scheduled maintenance. Surely you can talk to someone. You need to fix this, Dad says, not asking but telling. Your sister's reputation is on the line. I look at all 3 of them standing in my shabby apartment. Not one has asked how I am. Not one has even glanced around to notice the peeling linoleum or the water stains spreading across my ceiling from last month's leak. Wait here, I say. I walk to my bedroom and open the bottom drawer of my dresser. The manila folder is right where I left it, carefully labeled Family Financial Records. I carry it back to the living room where they've made themselves comfortable on my couch. Before we discuss Brioni's party, I want to show you something. I open the folder and spread the contents on my coffee table. Bank statements, transfer records, text message, screenshots, all meticulously organized by date. What's all this? Dad asks, irritation edging his voice. This, I say, pointing to the first document, is a record of every penny I've given this family over the past 4 years. Mom's face changes. Tessa, this isn't the time to... I've transferred $18,300 to Brioni this year alone. I slid the bank statement toward her. That's not counting the $4,600 I gave you and Dad for the roof repair in February. Or the $2,800 for Brioni's emergency wisdom tooth extraction that her influencer insurance didn't cover. Brioni rolls her eyes. You just don't understand creative branding. This was an investment in my career, our family's future. I look directly at her. You've been building a fantasy and I've been paying for it. The room goes silent. Dad's face darkens to a dangerous red. Mom's mouth opens and closes without sound. As of today, I continue, my voice steadier than I feel. I am no longer financially responsible for any of you. The automatic transfers have been canceled. The credit card Brioni was authorized to use has been deactivated. You can't do that, Dad sputters. I already have. Mom's eyes fill with tears, right on cue. After everything we've done for you, this is how you repay us? What exactly have you done for me, Mom? When was the last time any of you asked about my life, my apartment, my happiness? That's not fair, Dad says, standing up. We're family. Family sticks together. Family doesn't exclude family from parties because they wear work boots instead of designer heels. The words burst out of me, sharper than intended. Brioni's face flushes. That's what this is about? You ruined my career because you didn't get an invitation to my networking event? I shake my head. No, Brioni, I didn't ruin anything. I simply stopped preventing the inevitable. Your career was built on my credit cards and bank account. It was never sustainable. You had no right, Mom whispers. I had every right. I gather the papers back into the folder. Now, I have a question for all of you. When was the last time any of you thanked me? When was the last time you showed up for me the way I've shown up for you? The silence is my answer. I think it's time for you to leave. Dad stands, looming over me with the intimidation tactic that worked when I was younger. You'll regret this, Tessa, when you need us. I've needed you for years, I interrupt. I just finally realized you were never going to be there. This isn't over, Brioni hisses as Mom pulls her toward the door. Actually, it is. I hold the door open. I'm going on vacation next week, my first in 3 years. Don't try to contact me. They file out, Mom's shoulders shaking with dramatic sobs, Dad's back rigid with anger, Brioni glaring daggers. I close the door behind them and slide the deadbolt into place with a satisfying click. For the first time in my adult life, I've put myself first. And it feels like freedom. After they leave, I open my laptop and pull up my bank account. My fingers hover over the keyboard for a beat, then I type in a new password she couldn't possibly guess. Not my birthday. Not my first pet. Something completely unrelated to the life I've shared with them. 14 accounts need changing. Bank accounts, credit cards, investment portfolio, email, Netflix. Even my damn library card account, which Mom has used to check out self-help books she never reads. I make a list and work through it methodically, the way I approach construction projects. Each password changed feels like another brick in a wall I'm building between us. Each click of the mouse is the sound of a door locking. Miss McBride? My landlord sounds confused when I call. You want to change the door code? Is there a problem? Just a security precaution, I say, keeping my voice casual. Had a small issue with family members showing up unannounced today. He doesn't ask questions. Why would he? In 4 years, I've never been late with rent, never complained about the faulty air conditioner, never called at midnight about a leaking pipe. I open my budget spreadsheet and delete the recurring transfers to Mom, Dad, and Brioni. The numbers jump off the screen. $1,955.7 monthly. My savings potential. My freedom fund. That night, I slept better than I have in years. On my vacation day, the airport feels like another world. I clutch my passport unused until today and try to calm the anxious flutter in my stomach. The boarding pass to Costa Rica feels wrong in my hand, like I've stolen someone else's ticket to happiness. First time flying? The woman beside me in the boarding line smiles. Her gray hair is cropped short, and she wears hiking boots that have seen plenty of trails. First time leaving the country, I admit. First vacation in. God, I can't even remember. She nods, understanding in her eyes. Those are often the best kind. The plane lifts off, and I watch Las Vegas shrink beneath me. The vast, sprawling city with all its neon promises, and my family's constant demands becoming nothing more than a speck in the desert. For 3 weeks, I didn't think about bank accounts or family obligations. I hike through rainforests, feeling the weight of humidity in my lungs instead of the weight of responsibility on my shoulders. I eat at local restaurants where nobody knows my name or needs anything from me. I take photographs not for anyone's social media feed, but because the sunset over the Pacific Ocean makes me feel small in the best possible way. I swim in the ocean at sunrise, make friends with a 70-year-old British woman who tells wild stories about her life as a war correspondent. Learn 10 Spanish phrases beyond gracias and use them proudly, even when locals smile at my pronunciation. Tessa, who boards the plane back to Las Vegas, walks differently. Stands taller, laughs louder. My skin has darkened under the Central American sun, and something inside me has lightened. The first sign something is wrong comes when I put my key in the apartment door. It turns too easily, as if the lock has been recently used. I pause, listening for sounds inside, then push the door open. Nothing looks disturbed at first glance. The same shabby couch, the same dying plant I forgot to ask a neighbor to water. But as I walk through to the bedroom, I notice small things. The dresser drawer is not fully closed. A book on my nightstand at a different angle than I left it. My stomach drops when I check the window. The spare key lockbox is broken open, its metal frame bent and empty. I rush to my closet, push aside winter coats, and feel along the top shelf. The envelope that should contain $2,400 in emergency cash is gone. Not just the money, the entire envelope. No, I whisper, the word heavy in my throat. My hands shake as I pull my filing cabinet open. The drawer slides out too easily, too smoothly, like it's been recently accessed. I flip through folders: birth certificate, social security card, tax returns, medical records, all gone. My laptop boots up slowly, painfully. I log into my credit monitoring service, a precaution I've maintained since a colleague had her identity stolen 2 years ago. The screen loads, and the breath leaves my body. 3 new credit cards opened in my name. A personal loan application is pending, all within the past 3 weeks while I was swimming in Costa Rica, and believing I was finally free. I track the digital footprints with the skills I've learned from years of documenting construction projects. The credit card applications were submitted from an IP address I recognize me parents' home network. The confirmation emails were sent to an address I've seen countless times on family financial matters, Brioni's backup Gmail account. My phone buzzes with a text. It's from Brioni. "Hey stranger, how was your trip? Let's catch up soon. Miss you. You." The walls of my apartment seem to close in. I stand in the center of my living room, surrounded by evidence of the most intimate betrayal possible. They didn't just take my money this time. They took my identity, my future, my trust. And they timed it perfectly, waiting until I was thousands of miles away, celebrating what I thought was my clean break. The realization settles in my chest like concrete hardening. They never saw me as family. I was never their daughter or sister. I had an account to withdraw from, a resource to exploit, a mark. When the tears come, they're not tears of sadness. They're tears of clarity, of fear transformed into resolve. I pick up my phone and call a number I never thought I'd need. Las Vegas Police Department. How can I direct your call? The police station smells like industrial cleaner and burnt coffee 15 minutes later. I sit on a hard plastic chair, still wearing the wrinkled sundress and sandals from my flight. My tan lines mark the difference between the woman who left 3 weeks ago and the one who returned today. "Miss McBride?" The officer appears in the doorway, notepad in hand. "Detective Ramirez can see you now." I follow her down a hallway lined with motivational posters that have yellowed at the edges. The detective's office is cramped but organized stacks of folders arranged in precise rows, a computer screen glowing with active case files. Detective Ramirez doesn't look up when I enter. She's studying my printed bank statements with a furrowed brow that has carved permanent lines into her forehead. "Have a seat," she says, gesturing to the chair across from her desk without looking up. I perch on the edge, back straight, hands folded in my lap. The position my father used to call my teacher's pet pose whenever I'd bring home another A. "I've reviewed everything you sent in advance," Ramirez says, finally meeting my eyes. "But I'd like to hear it from you." I take a deep breath and begin. My voice doesn't waver as I detail each transaction, each betrayal. The detective's pen scratches against her notepad, punctuating my account like a metronome. While I was in Costa Rica, they entered my apartment using a spare key they must have obtained from my landlord in case of emergency. They took my social security card, birth certificate, and the personal documents I keep in my fire safe. My finger taps each item listed in my police report. They used that information to open 3 credit cards and apply for a personal loan of $20,000. Ramirez nods. "And you have proof it was your family specifically?" I pull out my phone, open the folder labeled Evidence, and pass it to her. The IP address on the credit applications matches my parents' home network. The confirmation emails were sent to an account belonging to my sister, but accessed through that same IP. The security camera at my complex shows my father's car in the visitor parking area on the 7th of June at 2:18 p.m. I was in Manuel Antonio National Park at that exact time. The detective scrolls through the photos, nodding slightly. "You've done my job for me, Miss McBride. I've spent my life cleaning up their messes. I'm good at documentation." She hands back my phone. "Do you want to press charges?" The question hangs in the air between us. This is the moment, the fulcrum upon which my future balances. Behind me, years of exploitation disguised as family loyalty. Ahead, uncertain terrain, but mine to shape. I meet her eyes. Absolutely. My phone buzzed when I went to the motel that day. Mother's name flashes on the screen. I declined the call. 3 more notifications pop up in quick succession. "Tessa, call me immediately. The police just left." "How could you do this to your own mother, after everything we've sacrificed for you?" "Your father is beside himself. Is this how we raised you to behave?" I turn off notifications and make a new plan in my temporary motel room. By evening, the barrage continues through every possible channel. A voicemail from Mother, her voice breaking. "When you were 7, you had pneumonia, and I stayed up for 3 nights straight watching you breathe. How can you forget that? How can you do this to the mother who gave you life?" A text from Dad. You're destroying the family name. Is that what you want? To drag McBrides through the mud? Think about what you're doing. An Instagram story from Brioni shows her red-rimmed eyes gazing soulfully at the camera. The caption reads, "Family isn't supposed to hurt you. Betrayed. Prayers needed. Vulnerability is strength." She's tagged me, ensuring her followers know exactly who to blame. I block them all with 3 quick taps and turn my attention to the email from the district attorney's office confirming tomorrow's appointment. Next Monday, the DA's office occupies the 5th floor of the county courthouse. Martha Odom's handshake is firm, her gaze direct. She doesn't offer platitudes or small talk as she spreads the evidence across her desk. "Frankly, Miss McBride, this is one of the clearest cases of identity theft I've seen. The paper trail is." She pauses, tapping my meticulously organized folders. "Comprehensive. Will it be enough?" She nods, leaning back in her chair. "More than enough for arrest warrants. The identity theft alone carries up to 5 years. Add the breaking and entering, the fraud." She whistles softly. "They're looking at serious consequences. They'll claim it was a misunderstanding, that they were just trying to help me." "With what? Draining your credit? Taking out loans in your name?" She shakes her head. "No jury would buy that, especially with their history of financial dependence on you." "When will they be arrested?" "Warrants will be processed today. Officers will likely serve them tomorrow morning." I nod, surprising myself with my own calm. "Thank you." 3 weeks later, I walk into courtroom 4B with my back straight and my gaze steady. The wooden bench creaks as I take my seat, alone on the plaintiff's side. Across the aisle, they huddle together, mother dabbing at her eyes with a tissue, dad's hand placed protectively on her shoulder, Brioni's face a careful mask of wounded innocence. They've dressed for the role of sympathetic defendants. Mother in a modest blue dress that makes her look older, dad in his only suit. Brioni in a high-necked blouse that contradicts every outfit she's posted on Instagram. Their attorney looks confident, smiling reassuringly at them as he arranges papers on the defense table. Their confidence wavers when the bailiff calls us to rise, and Judge Sanderson enters. The judge is a woman in her 60s with silver hair cut in a practical bob. She reviews the case file with narrowed eyes, occasionally glancing over her glasses at my family. The preliminary hearing proceeds with clinical efficiency. The prosecutor presents the evidence: screenshots of credit applications, bank records, security footage, IP address logs. With each new exhibit, my family's posture deteriorates further. Brioni takes the stand first, tears welling in her eyes. "I just wanted to help my sister," she says, voice breaking perfectly on cue. "She works so hard, and I thought if I could just get my influencer career going, I could finally pay her back for everything." The prosecutor approaches with my bank statements. "Is that why you used her credit to purchase a $4,200 designer handbag the day after obtaining the fraudulent card?" Brioni blinks, her performance momentarily disrupted. "That was an investment in my brand image." Mother and father offer similar performance tales of misunderstanding, claims of good intentions. Dad even suggests they had verbal permission to access my finances. The judge's expression grows increasingly severe with each testimony. When all evidence has been presented, she removes her glasses and addresses my family directly. "In my 30 years on the bench, I've seen many forms of theft. But this," she taps the file before her, "this isn't just theft, it's betrayal of the worst kind." A month later, the key turns in the lock with a satisfying click into my new apartment. Something about this sound, this simple, ordinary sound, makes my chest expand. The real estate agent hands over 2 copies, not the usual 3. "Just the 2 keys?" she asks, eyebrow raised. "Just 2, I confirm, sliding them into my pocket. One for me, one for the lockbox." The condo spreads before me, empty and full of possibility. Sunlight streams through windows that actually open. The air conditioner hums quietly, effectively. 3 security cameras monitor the entrance. I walk the rooms alone after she leaves. My footsteps echo against hardwood floors that don't creak. The refrigerator doesn't wheeze. The shower pressure doesn't fluctuate. Everything works as design novel concept. My phone buzzes in my pocket. I glance at the screen. Aiden from work inviting me hiking this weekend. I text back immediately. Count me in. That evening, I sat at my new kitchen counter, staring at the envelope that arrived this morning. The first restitution check. Not huge, but symbolic. Tomorrow, I'll open an account at Mountain America Credit Uniona, fresh start at a bank where my family has no history. My financial advisor, Janice, called yesterday about investment options. You've got a solid foundation to build on now, she told me. My retirement account has begun to grow again. So has my emergency fund. And my vacation fund. And my just because I want it fund. Sleep comes easily now. No more 3 a.m. panic attacks about making the rent or covering Brioni's credit card payment. No more stress headaches. No more grinding my teeth until my jaw aches. During my Tuesday therapy session, Dr. Marshall watches me describe my mother's letter. You haven't opened it? He asks. Not yet, I reply, surprised by my lack of urgency. I'll get to it. What's different now? He asks. I consider this. Time is mine again. My money is mine. My decisions are mine. 3 days later, Dad calls. His voice carries that strange mix of defensiveness and apology. Tessa, Iwe, your mother and I have been talking. What happened with your sister's cards? We never meant for things to go that far. I listen, letting the silence stretch between his stammered excuses. We're still family, he finally says. Family means something different to me now, I reply. That night, my phone pings with an Instagram notification. Brioni has tagged me in a professionally shot photo of her looking contemplative by a window, caption reading, Family means forgiveness, healing, new beginnings, sisterhood. I stare at it for a long moment, then set my phone aside without responding. Saturday evening, my new living room fills with laughter. Kate from accounting brings homemade salsa. Mike and his wife arrive with a houseplant. Aiden brings photos from our hike. Teresa, my neighbor, brings 2 friends who quickly feel like mine. My phone lights up with another notification from Brioni. I turn it face down on the counter without checking. Everything okay? Teresa asks, noticing. Perfect, I say and mean it. Just choosing my priorities. These people want nothing from me except my company. They don't need my money or my sacrifice or my silence. They just want me, real me, not what I can provide. They didn't love me, they loved what I could give. When I stopped giving, they showed me who they really were. But I showed myself something more important, who I could be.